Okay, this is part 2 of Federalist number 6, and like I said, it's a beautiful, beautiful essay, so I'm going to read it to you. Today is September the 2nd, 2017, and it's around 10:40 in the morning. I want to show you something because I live in Norman, Oklahoma. College football is really big here. Right now, people are coming to town. They're going to go to the stadium, watch a little game. I love football. I'm a big football fan, whether it's soccer, football, or American football. The only thing is, I sometimes think that we have to prioritize our times as citizens of whether it is this country, but most importantly, citizens of the planet. So, just having said that, I want to introduce you to a channel that I've always talked about. And I said it's probably one of the most wonderful resources for anybody who wants to learn about America. So, hang on one sec and excuse my camera's it's not the highest quality, so bear with me. So as you look outside, people are getting ready to go to the stadium, and this parking lot is going to fill up. However, at the same time, when I'm uploading these, I watch one of my favorite channels. I've talked about C-SPAN quite a bit. It is C-SPAN, Book TV. They are. This is a national book festival, and this gentleman, Sidney Blumenthal, is talking about his new book about my favorite president, Abraham Lincoln. I don't know if you can see it or not, but right there, Abraham Lincoln. Just wanted to remind you that you have resources, incredible amount of resources, to learn the American history, American civilization, development of federalism, the most important thing, and then Canada, of course, Australia. Canada is also a rich source of information. After all, the Federalist number 6 that we are going to be reviewing today, he's talking about history, left and right. He's taking, we'll see, this happened in Rome, this happened in Greece, this happened between England and France, this happened in Europe. Are we going to learn lessons from these? And that's what I'm talking about with all these resources, 230 years of American federalism, 100-some years of Canadian federalism, and on, India's experience, Australia, Brazil, Nigeria, Germany, of course. Each one of them have something to teach us. And I'm going to show you some books that have done works on comparative federalism that we will eventually turn to. I probably won't be here with you when that happens, but I definitely want you to get started. I know around the world there's going to be brilliant kids, regardless of financial situation, that will be disciplined enough to get started, and don't let anybody disappoint you. The only thing that I want you to do is not to be only what they call an expert in one thing, and turn your eyes and be blind to not what religion means, not what other things mean. That's when I use the word civilization. Studying civilization, I mean literature, history of religion, politics, government, everything like that. So that's the key word. So let's go to second paragraph of Federalist number 6. A man must be foregone in utopian speculations. Beautiful language, I love it. Who can seriously doubt that if these states should either be wholly disunited or only united in partial confederacies, the subdivisions into which they might be thrown would have frequent and violent contests with each other. To presume a want of motives for such contests as an argument against their existence would be to forget that men are ambitious, vindictive, rapacious. Ambitious, vindictive, rapacious. Alexander Hamilton does not have a high regard for human beings as far as human nature goes. And we'll talk more about this. It's very important to see his background, the background of the American founders, and the religious milieu, the religious culture that they were born into. This is very important. I will show you videos or refer to videos that you can study and find out what this cultural milieu was, the cultural surrounding of them. So these are all negative things that he talks about. He says human beings by nature, he says, are ambitious, vindictive, and rapacious. They want the highest positions for them. They will take revenge on you and be revengeful. And every negative thing that you can talk about is possible from human beings. He's kind of wrapping all of that up in one sentence. To look for a continuation of harmony between a number of independent, unconnected sovereignties situated in the same neighborhood would be to disregard the uniform course of human events and to set at defiance the accumulated experience of ages. Look again, he says, look at what experience of ages, what history teaches us, what humanity, what nations, what groups of people have done to one another. If you put them side by side in the same neighborhood and do not unite them. Because there are some people who say, well, these 13 states have been friendly to one another. They are republics. They're not going to go to war. They speak the same language. Of course, they are not counting the 1/5 of the population, which is the enslaved population. And these are the people that have been brought from different tribes in Africa. A lot of them did not speak the same language. And then all the Native Americans with different languages. But it says, you think just because you have the same language and your main religion is Christianity, even though you're different sects, you're not going to go to war with each other. He says you're fools if you think that. Experience of ages is going to show you differently. It's going to teach you a different lesson. And the following paragraphs, he's going to go through them one by one. So we are fortunate that we now have the technology and we can use this technology to better ourselves. Technology is a tool. It can be used for ugly purposes and it can be used for good purposes. If we are wise enough, we've seen that, how people make enemies and just using the technology. So we're not fools. We're just saying that we've got to be very smart to find this means of communication very wisely, to use it for educating ourselves and educating everybody else, and not be naive about things. As what this Federalist number 6 keeps on talking about. It says, don't be naive, look at what history teaches us. Okay, every time I sit in front of this map, I've already showed you these two lines here. That's what we are doing, except in a grand scope. I told you James Madison, who is come to be known as the father of the Constitution, he did his homework. He looked at the history of the 13 states in the 11 years before the Constitutional Convention. And he wrote a memo, a note to himself that he's left for us some vices of the political system of the United States. What was bad about it? What was bad about these 13 state governments, their constitution? What have we found out about them? We don't want to make the same mistake, he says. And the other one is based on the bunch of books that he said fit into two chests, two suitcases, let's say, of books that Jefferson had sent him from France about history of the world, history of confederations of the world, because he said, I want to know what's happened with the past confederations. We want to learn a history so that we don't repeat it. So with that, he wrote Confederations, Ancient and Modern, and was equipped with that knowledge. He went to the Constitutional Convention, and then afterwards, there and in the first Congress, he did a lot for the founding of this nation. So what we're doing is we're going to learn the founding of America, the development of America, look at all the problems with federalism here, the good parts, the bad parts, and then carry on studying other federalist systems, and hopefully in a few generations set up a system and create a union for ourselves and for the future generations.